In this video, we're going to discuss the game monitor behavior. And in fact, this is part 2 of a 3-part series where what I've really done here is made like a small game, and that game is using multiple behaviors. So you may have seen this scene before, but this is a new behavior video for game monitor. If you haven't checked that out, be sure to check that out. I'll leave a link in the description down below. And that is for the object collider behavior. So that if I were to drop a object and break the pot, then it detects that collision and then it scores the points. You can see those points there at the top left. And that's how the game kind of progresses forward. And this behavior is game monitor. So it's monitoring that score. And when it reaches 500, then the game is over. So let me see if I can hit this maybe 4 more times. It's not as easy as it looks. Let's see if I can get a few more scores. That was kind of a glancing blow. Didn't detect the collision that time. There we go. 1. Should be a direct hit. 1 more. There we go. So at the bottom there, because it's hit 500 points, you can see that it is saying press E to continue at the very bottom. And so if I were to press E, then the game will end. So I'm going to just press E, game ends. And that's because of the way I've set it up, which I'll explain here in a minute. But that's game monitor. So you can monitor a user global. When that user global reaches a value that you want, then you can do something, right? So you can end the game, either, you win the game or you lose the game, or you can just move on to the next level. And that is a global behavior. Now, this is actually something very new because up until now, every global behavior I've ever used, I've always assigned it to some random object in the scene. I might have picked one of these poles or something, and then just made that pole always active. But there's a new feature coming, and I want to show you this feature today. You may not see it in the editor yet because I'm using the dev build, and so that kind of gives me access to some of the newer features that are being tested. And here we see on the environments effects tab in the editor, under global behaviors, we can now add globals to this part right here. We don't need to pepper them into the scene and then try to remember what we attached them to. So this is a godsend. This is great because now you can put all your globals here and you can make them active for all levels. So you don't have to keep repeating them over and over again. You can use them for different things. So just kind of a cool little feature that is coming soon. But for now, we'll just break down the behavior, the game monitor behavior. So the global that we want to monitor is called score. That's just, the name of the user global that I made. And the trigger value is 500. So I kept it small just so that we wouldn't be sitting here watching me fail to hit pots all day. So five scores was enough to get me the win. The trigger monitor is at what point should it trigger once it's hit a certain value. So in this case, I selected when the global is greater than or equal to the trigger value, which is right here. You do have less than or equal to as well, but that wouldn't make sense in our case because we're incrementing the score up, not down. But you can imagine if you have, $1,000 and you're spending it when you've spent all your money, the game's over. Something like that could work as well. And then the trigger action, what should happen once that trigger is activated, right? Once it's triggered, what should happen? So we can win the game, we could lose the game, or we can go to the next level. The trigger text is what displays at the bottom of the screen. You saw that before when I hit 500, it said press E to continue. And that would then, once the player presses E, if it were wired up and it was a proper game, it would just take me to the win screen. And then the trigger text display, whether it's on or off, that just depends on you. If you wanted to just move to the win screen automatically and not have a prompt text, then that's your choice. In my case, I needed to show you what it looked like, so I left it on. And then this doesn't really matter the way I've set this up because it's going to the win screen. But if you chose to go to the next level or go to level, you then tell it here which level. Is it the one that is in the storyboard logic, or is there a specific level that you want it to go to? That's what that's for. But if you've chosen win or lose, then this would be irrelevant. Doesn't matter. And then lastly, we kind of alluded to this before, we have the active all levels tick box. We tick that, then we don't have to keep setting this up every single time. We don't have to run the risk of forgetting to set this up on a level. You do it once and it's done, and then for the whole game from that point forward. So that's lovely as well. That's it. That's the game monitor behavior explained. If you enjoyed the video or if you learned anything new, please be sure to click the like button down below. It helps me out. If you're new here or if you just haven't subscribed yet, would love to have you stick around. And lastly, if you'd like a notification for whenever a new video is posted, just click the bell icon and that'll let you know when a new video is ready. Thanks so much for watching all the way through. I always appreciate that, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hey, don't forget, there's written documentation on every behavior, even the ones I haven't covered yet in video format, on my website at www.bloodmooninteractive.com. Be sure to check that out. And if you'd like to learn more, maybe check this video out next.